Hi there, I'm Dr. Jim with Flea and Tick Veterinary Hospital in Lincoln, and today we're going to talk about fleas and ticks on dogs.
Dr. Jim, how can my dog get fleas and ticks?
Well, fleas, all they have to do is be exposed to another animal that's carrying them, and that could be a stray cat, it could be a neighborhood dog that they run up and down the fence with, or a dog that they meet at the dog park. And as far as ticks, if you like to go camping or you like to go along bike trails or anywhere there's dense brush, ticks are opportunistic and they like warm-blooded mammals, so that's their food source, and so that's how you pick them up.
What signs will my dog show if they have fleas?
If fleas are present, a lot of dogs obviously will be itching. You may flip your dog over onto its back and look at its tummy, and you may see some pepper-like flakes. And sometimes those will also can be located over the tail area. And sometimes you can see the little fleas running. And so those can be sometimes kind of disturbing to people. What are these things? And so that's what we can do to help, we can do things to help you get rid of them.
Can the indoor dogs still get fleas and ticks?
Absolutely. They all have to go outside at some point to go to the bathroom, or, if you walk through an infested area with fleas or ticks, sometimes they will jump onto you temporarily and then jump off onto your dog. Like I say, ticks and fleas are both, unfortunately, blood-sucking parasites, and so, again, a warm-blooded mammal is just what they need. That's how they propagate their life cycle.
How do I get rid of fleas on my dog?
Well, there are several different methods. Of course, the old-fashioned ones would be a flea bath and then a flea dip, and we don't really use those much anymore. Now there are some good flea collars like Seresto. There are topical medications like FE-Pro Plus or Frontline. And the more current thing that we use the most of are oral meds, which are effective against both fleas and ticks and are generally quite safe. We don't use them in dogs with seizure issues, and we can talk about that again a little bit more later. But generally for most dogs, that's the most effective and easiest for owners.
What different types of flea and tick preventives are there, and should they be used year-round?
Well, as I alluded to, like I say, there's the flea baths, flea dips, again, which we don't really use anymore. The oral medications, which is what we primarily use for most dogs, and those are really quite effective. Like I say, some of them are combined with heartworm preventatives now, and so it's kind of an all-in-one thing. Like I said, there are effective flea collars like Seresto, sometimes those can, and for ticks too. And like I said, there are medications for cats, like Bravecto for cats, Credelio for cats. Those are either topical or oral, and those can be very effective. So again, we've got solutions. If you've got the flea or tick problem, we've got the answer.
How do I remove a tick from my dog?
Well, the best thing is you either get a nice pair of tweezers, or if you have what we call a hemostat, like we would use in surgery to clamp off a blood vessel, and you need to get very close to where the tick attaches to the skin, and then you clamp onto it and pull up. You don't clamp onto the body, because that's going to force the tick to exude into your animal, and if they're carrying something like Lyme disease or ehrlichiosis or other tick-borne diseases, it can actually make things more infectious. And then you would blot that area with an antiseptic like rubbing alcohol or sea breeze, something along that line.
How long can a tick be on my dog before it's dangerous?
Depends on what the tick is carrying. Sometimes ticks don't carry any kind of parasites, at all. Other times they'll have bacterial issues like Lyme disease, Rocky Mountain spotted fever, which I'm sure most people have heard of, ehrlichiosis, etc. And so it depends on what the organism is. Like with Ehrlichia, that can be transmitted in a matter of hours. With Lyme disease, because it's a different, a lot of times it's a different species of tick, and Lyme disease transmits a little bit slower. Sometimes that can take 48 hours. And so if you have any other questions about fleas or ticks control for your dog, and like I say, we can also talk about that for your cat, give us a call here at Flea and Tick Veterinary Hospital, 402-489-0501. Thank you. Have a good day.